So this problem here is 87 divided by 5. First off, I want to write this in long division format. So I'm going to put my dividend, the number being divided, in the middle of a box. My divisor, or the number I'm dividing by, goes on the outside. I'm going to go ahead and color code this to make it a little easier for us. We're going to do our tens in red. So let's start with just our tens place. So I want to know 8 divided by 5. Remember, my first step is to divide. So let's divide. 5 goes into 8 how many times? I can skip count by 5s and see how many 5s it takes to get to 8 without going over. So I can count 5, 10. Right away, I've gone over. 10 is greater than 8. So I have to stop at 5. So I say, okay, when I skip counted, I could only do 1 5. I could do 5 times 1 gives me 5, and after that, I went over. So I'm going to say 1 5 can fit into 8. Next, I would multiply. I'd say, okay, well, 1 5 fit into 8. 1 times 5 is 5. You can also look at this as saying, how high could I get when I was skip counting? I could not get to 8. I had to stop at 5, so I'm going to put my 5 down here. Next, I would subtract. 8 minus 5 is 3. My next step is to bring down. So I'm going to take my next digit, so up here it's a 7, and I'm going to go ahead and bring it down to make 37. After I bring down, I repeat my steps over again. So let's grab another color from my ones place. So I have here 5 and 37. Now I'm going to start by dividing again. So I'm going to do 5 into 37. So let's skip count by 5s and see how many 5s we can fit into 37 without going over. So I can count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. 40 goes over. So I have to stop at 35. So it takes me 7 5s to get to 35, because 5 times 7 is 35. So I'm going to put a 7 up top to show that it took 7 5s to get up this high. Next, I would multiply. I'd say, well, 7 times 5 gives me 35. So I'm going to put this 35 down here. Remember, you can also look at this as I stopped at 35. So my 35 goes down below, and the number of 5s it took to get here goes up top. So that's where your 7 comes from. Next, I subtract. My last step is to bring down, but I have no other digits to bring down. Nothing up here. So this 2 becomes my remainder. So 87 divided by 5 is 17 with a remainder of 2. For this next example, I want you guys to try it on your own first, and then we'll go over it together. So go ahead and pause this video and try out 77 divided by 3. Hopefully you've all tried it out by now, so let's take a look at how we would solve this. First off, we'd want to write it as long division. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in my long division box. Then I'm going to look at, okay, tens place first. So I'm going to look at just this 7. I start by dividing. How many times can 3 go into 7? I can skip count 3, 6. I have to stop at 6 because otherwise I will go over. So I only fit 2 3s into 7 because 3 times 2 gives me that 6. Next I would multiply. As I just said, 3 times 2, 3 times my 2 gives me 6. So I'll put my 6 down below. Next I would subtract. So 7 minus 6 is 1. And then I would bring down. So we'll bring down that 7 to make a 17. Once you bring down, you should repeat your steps all over again. So let's repeat all these steps one more time. So I have 17, and I'm still dividing by the same divisor. This does not change. So I want to do 3 into 17. So let's skip count by 3s and see how close we can get to 17 without going over. Go ahead and try it on your own. Okay, hopefully you found that you can get up to 15 using 3s. If I went up to 18, I would go over this 17, so we have to stop at 15. 3 times 5 gives me 15. So I'm going to put my 5 up top to show that I was able to fit 5 groups of 3 into 17. Now I did not get the 17, I had to stop at 15. So I'm going to write my 15 down to show that I didn't get all the way to 17. Last, I'm going to want to subtract to find out how much of this 17 I still have left. So 17 minus 15 gives me 2. I have nothing left to bring down. So I look at the top, there are no more digits. That's what tells me I'm done. So I say, okay, 2 is left over, so that becomes my remainder. I do have one more example for you guys. This is an extra example. It's a much larger long division problem that I just want to go over because it touches on some interesting situations you may come across. So let's write this problem out as long division, where we have 5 goes into 2,526. So in a problem like this, all of my long division steps are still the same. I'm still going to divide, multiply, subtract, and bring down. But I'm going to have to do it a couple times. So let's take a look at how to solve a problem like this. I would start by looking at my first digit, which is here 2. I can't fit 5 into 2 because even 1 times 5 is 5 and it still goes over. When that happens, take your first 2 digits instead. So I'm going to look at 5 goes into 25 how many times? Well, I can skip count, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. And it goes in 5 times. Now this is interesting because we actually got up to 25. So I can write 25 down below to show that I actually reached 25 when I skip counted. I can subtract and find that there's nothing left over. Next, I would bring down. So I'm going to take just this next digit. I'm not going to look at this final digit yet. We're looking at it one at a time. So I'm going to pull down that 2 so that I have a 2 down here. Next, I would do my steps all over again. So I'm going to grab a different color to show that we're now on our second round of steps. We're doing 5 goes into 2 how many times? Again, I can't do this because if I skip count 5, 10, 15, even just 5 times 1 has gone over that 2. When that happens, I'm going to put a 0 up top to show that I could not fit 5 into 2. Now I can continue my steps. I could say, well, 0 times 5 is 0. And if I subtract, I should still have 2 left over. I've done all my steps again, and I still have this 2. My last step is to bring down. So I'm going to bring down that 6. And now I have a 26. Now that I'm on my third round of steps, let's pull one more color and let's try it again. Remember, I repeat my steps all the way from the beginning. So I'm going to divide. So let's divide, same divisor, 26 divided by 5. So I can skip count and see how many times does 5 go into 26. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. 30 goes over, so we're going to have to stop at 25. That means 5 5s can fit into 26. I didn't get to 26, I had to stop at 25. So I'm going to write that down to show that I did not get all the way to 26. I only got 25. I'm going to subtract, find out what is left over, and I should find that I have 1 remainder. So that 1 becomes my remainder. So again, some situations you may come across. If you ever cannot divide into the first digit, take your first 2 digits instead. If you ever try to divide and you find that you can't do it, use a 0 to show that you could not do it, and then just continue your steps with that 0. If you have a number that has multiple digits, you just keep bringing down digits and repeating your steps until you have no digits left to bring down. That's how you know you're done. All right, everyone. That's all I have for you in this video. Thank you so much for watching. Go ahead and try it on your own, and good luck.